Hey, I'm Romarna Campbell and I'm a drummer from Birmingham. So I started out when my mom bought my dad a drum kit for Christmas. Before that I'd been playing piano and flute, I guess at a community-based music school. And I was so excited about this drum kit. So my mom took me to a drum workshop and I just absolutely loved it. And from there I ended up playing my dad's drum kit more than he did, and that's kind of how I became a drummer. So when I decided that I was going to stick more to drumming, I was introduced to Andy Hamilton when they used to have the rush hour jazz sessions at Symphony Hall. And I remember him walking in a green suit. It was really amazing, and he introduced me to the Note Benders, which was a community band that he'd set up, and told me to go down because they were in need of a drummer. So the following week I went down to Romarna's studios where I met all the guys from Note Benders, and that was kind of the beginning of me joining community-based projects as well as then taking lessons. So from there I was introduced to lessons, private lessons, and then I went on to be part of the jazz lines, youth-based stuff, and then also went on to go into the junior department at Birmingham Conservatoire, and then on to Tomorrow's Warriors. I think there were two things that happened. I remember seeing Andy Hamilton play and absolutely loving the music. I thought it was really expressive. I think at the age, I was about 10, so at that time I wasn't entirely sure what it was, but I was definitely drawn to the music. And then I was introduced to Clifford Brown and Max Roach live at Basin Street. It's still one of my absolute favourite records. It's also one of the first records I ever had on vinyl as well. So I went to the discery and bought that record. And that record to me was what I wanted to do. So that kind of took me into jazz really. I think the key thing with composing is that I want to tell a story. So whether I'm telling my story or somebody else's story, or whether that music evokes your own story, I think that's a key thing that I go for. I want to take the audience or even that one listener on a journey, whether that means at the end of the song or at the end of the performance they're crying, they're laughing, they're smiling, just to evoke some kind of emotion and take them on that journey together. I would say that I grew up listening to a lot of Erykah Badu and The Roots and things like that. So I was definitely, to begin with, very much influenced by that. I still love all of that music and listen to it greatly. I'd say that Max Roach is one of my biggest heroes, and Roy Haynes. I think they're two of the greatest drummers ever, and even Roy Haynes is still alive now, still playing, still going. I think more recently, I'm definitely looking more towards the likes of Thundercat and Ronald Bruner, Flying Lotus, where we're getting this really great crossover of jazz, electronic, soul, neo-soul. So you're starting to see that influence in Layla Hathaway now, who traditionally has always been quite R&B, but now you're starting to see with the musicians that she's working with. Robert Glasper, when he came out with Black Radio, the first edition, 5 years ago, that was a seminal record. It was a great record. I remember listening to that. It's that kind of movement that's happening at the moment. Absolutely, Max Roach and Clifford Brown live at Basin Street, and if you can get the version that's got all the outtakes and alternate takes, amazing. I'd go for Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. It's one of the best-selling jazz records of all time, and again, a seminal record gives you that slight difference. And then I'd probably go for Count Basie with Frank Sinatra live at the Sands. Slightly different. I'm a massive big band fan, but slightly different. But for real enthusiasm and joy and just a generally good album and live record, I'd go for that as well. Definitely, so I'm currently writing / finishing scores for a new band that I'm setting up. I'm yet to have the name of the band, but I can tell you that the name of the project is Limitations of Our Imaginations. So the idea is that our society, the world, everything that we do is simply limited by our imaginations as individuals and as a collective. And the idea is to just kind of break down as many boundaries musically, whether that's through harmony, through sound and everything like that, but still keeping that core essence of taking you on a journey through that album and through the music. I would say your voice is needed. Your voice is there to be heard, so don't ever think that your voice isn't going to be heard and isn't needed. Make sure that you stand by what you believe in and are playing music that you want to play. The industry needs more musicians, more people, more forward-thinking people, whether you're male or female, but particularly females, because we're strong, independent, so let's do this.